President Trump's executive order to close the borders. Honorable Men Discord, let's talk about it. So although there are some people that don't like the fact that Donald Trump made it into office and is now the president of the United States, there's some things you can appreciate about him, and it's the fact that he's very firm in the decisions that he makes. I, for one, don't completely agree with everything that Donald Trump puts out there, but I can appreciate the fact that he's firm on his decisions and he stands by it and he executes it. Great leaders are expected to make decisions without any second guessing. And for that reason, I believe that Donald Trump's executive decision to close the borders was a great decision. Now, for some undocumented immigrants that were trying to apply for their citizenship, I know these words that I just mentioned, or these words that I just said, seems harsh and unforgiving. But here's the thing. This is really not about those who had intentions of becoming citizens and actually contributing to the country, to the economy in a healthy fashion. This is more about those that come to this country and exploit this country and bring in illegal drugs, commit crimes. As a native New Yorker, we've witnessed crimes last year by illegal immigrants, and those are the type of crimes that I believe Donald Trump is trying to suppress and stop within the United States. Now, to my understanding, this executive decision affects children that were born in this country by undocumented immigrants. And that's an unfortunate thing because those children, although they were born here and they have citizenship, I believe this executive decision now reverses that. And just like the children's parents, they are subject to possibly being deported. Again, this seems very harsh, but this is more about potential crimes that could occur in this country. Donald Trump, President Trump, is trying to be proactive when he made a decision like this. We have a surge in fentanyl, which is a drug that at one point I never even knew what it was. But then the more that I've learned about the drug and its potency and how destructive it is, I'm all for whatever it takes to prevent that coming into the country. I've seen videos of, I saw one video of a police officer who just touched it. He just touched fentanyl and he fell to the ground and it looked like he was having a seizure and he was unconscious for some time. Luckily, his partner had the necessary narcotics to resuscitate the police officer. But when I saw that video, I didn't realize how destructive and dangerous fentanyl really was.
It's dramatic body cam video of a deputy sheriff collapsing to the ground. He and his partner were making a drug arrest when he suddenly has trouble breathing.
I got you, okay? I'm not gonna let you die. I'm not gonna let you die.
The deputy was believed to be suffering from an accidental overdose after being exposed to the deadly opioid fentanyl.
I need Narcan!
His partner began administering Narcan, a medication that works like magic to block the effects of an opioid overdose.
Fire department got there, put him on the gurney, his eyes rolled back in his head, and he started to OD again. And he was ODing the whole way to the hospital.
The San Diego Sheriff's Department released the footage to warn against the dangers of fentanyl. Fortunately, the deputy survived and made a full recovery.
But it's not just fentanyl. Obviously, we know that some criminal organizations, cartels, bring in other drugs aside from fentanyl. But fentanyl is probably one of the most dangerous drugs out there in the country at this time. If there are any others, I can't imagine what they do if there's anything worse than fentanyl. But back to the Border Patrol. Again, it may seem like something that's very inhumane in its nature. But the truth of the matter is, we have a lot going on in this country, and we have things that we have to take care as far as our citizens that were already here. So to spend time trying to cater to immigrants at this present time in the country, I think we're overstretching our resources to try to do so. I think it's very important that we concentrate on the things that we need to fix here in this country first, before we discuss potentially opening back up the privilege to become a citizen in this country by immigrants. Now, some of you may disagree, but by all means, just understand that. Just take a look at what was going on in California with the wildfires in California. There is really no explanation as to why the fire hydrants had no water. So when you have California basically burning down, parts of California burning down for lack of water, I think there's a major problem that needs to be resolved as far as that's concerned. So to be discussing citizenship for immigrants, I think that takes the back seat to what's going on to citizens here in the United States. And that's just one issue that I'm bringing up. But again, I think that President Trump is very firm in his decision. I stand on this particular decision that he made. I'm sure there's others that I may or may not agree with, but this particular executive order, I'm all for it. It's also been said, unfortunately, there was a Border Patrol agent that was killed also by an illegal immigrant. And when things like that happen, automatically it puts a radar on what is the line of defense for things like that, to stop things like that from happening. Furthermore, if the president wasn't to address things firmly in regard to a Border Patrol agent being killed by an immigrant, then he would be looked at as though he's not taking care of his people, meaning U.S. citizens. Because U.S. citizens shouldn't be losing their lives while just going to work trying to protect the border by an illegal immigrant. Unfortunately, the illegal immigrants that do come to this country to commit crimes, they have now put the microscope on illegal immigrants across the border, good or bad. So if there's anyone to blame, it shouldn't be Donald Trump. It should be those who intentionally come into this country to cause corruption and violence. Again, we could agree to disagree. If you disagree, by all means, I'm willing to see you in the comments. If you haven't seen the reports covered on the executive decision to protect the borders, take a look at this.
And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities.
Joe Biden's Border Control CPB One app, which allowed people to cross the border and book appointments in the US, was shut down, stopping the flow of illegal aliens. Online commentators reacted to the ease with which the new Trump administration stopped the flow of illegals immediately. This commentator said, "Wait, Biden could have just closed the border? Surely it isn't this easy." And this commentator said, El Paso border crossing within minutes of the new administration. It really was that simple.
So it's one thing to make claims about the violence that some illegal immigrants impose in this country, and it's another thing to show proof of those claims. So the following videos I've selected to just show some of the destruction and violence that some illegal immigrants have brought to this country. Take a look.
Cops arresting several migrants for dozens of robberies all across New York City.
Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan with what could happen to those migrants. From Sheepshead Bay to Lower Manhattan, police say a gang of recent migrants from Venezuela terrorized New Yorkers, robbing them violently and then hacking their phones to drain bank accounts of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Police say this is one part of one migrant gang, and there are others.
We begin with team coverage and new details about the fatal shooting of a Border Patrol agent in the Northeast Kingdom.
Sources tell Channel 3 News that one of the suspects is a German national who was in the U.S. legally. We've also learned the identity of the agent killed. His name is David Mayland. Our sources say he was shot in the neck and died of his injuries. This all happened yesterday afternoon during a traffic stop on Interstate 91 in Coventry.
As always, thank you for tuning in to another Honorable Men Discord episode. Like, share, subscribe, and thank you for your support.